Wake up at 2 in the morning, stoned as a bitch. What do? Play Battlefield Bad Company, obviously. Shit. Can't go back to sleep. What do? Play some Battlefield Bad Company, obviously. Just a bored video. Huh. Bored video. Got Mr. Whatever this guy is in the helicopter. This motherfucker totally Far Cried me. I thought I was gonna get to splatter his brains all over the place, and then he said, "Here, let us take my helicopter. Everything is fine. We are friends." Forgot what I was gonna say. What was the whole point of this video? Son of a bitch. I don't even remember. Man, stop rushing me. I will totally not pilot this chopper. And then what are you gonna do? Huh? Yeah. Didn't think about that, did you? Really can't say much about Battlefield Bad Company. Shit is just great all around. I mean, it's an older game too, so any criticisms that I have are just, pointless, or I don't know. It would be like trying to, criticize the original Crackdown. Well, if you're like 15 playing the original Crackdown right now, yeah, that game probably looks like shit to you. But, I fixed this already? Good job. That being said, that the game's a bit old, it still looks good. I love the way, one of my favorite things about this game is the way your character looks. When you open a box of gold, he's just like, yeah, that's some fucking gold. That gold looks good. I guess the only thing that I would have done differently with this game, I mean, it goes without saying, as if you've seen my other videos talking about difficulty levels and whatnot, it goes without saying that I don't like the way I'm playing this on the highest difficulty setting. I think it just says hard. And it goes without saying that I don't like it. Not because it's too hard, but because I'm assuming I haven't played this since I was a kid, and so coming off of Gears of War Judgment on Insane, I'm playing this on hard, just, fuck it. And I started the game, I didn't at all, remember anything. I played Battlefield Bad Company too. I don't know if this is a lot of people's experience. Oh, I can't get out of the helicopter and fix this shit again? That sucks. I'm not paying attention at all. I'm just gonna, Al-Qaeda this shit. But, going off my previous videos, especially with this game having this open map like this, which is fantastic. This is, in my opinion, one of the best ways that you can do a game like this. I would love, fuck everything that else has been done. I would love a Battlefield World War I where you have big maps like this, where the mission would start at this end of the map, and you have coming out of a base or whatever, and the enemy's on the other end of the map, and you have all these, this is a big ass map, and you have all these trenches in it, and you gotta push waves of enemies, and there would be a little bit of whatever management that you would do as to where you have to maintain the front line, otherwise you're gonna have to retreat and fall back because your lines are falling apart. This motherfucker. Kill me, I'm right here. What? Now that I've found a mate. So yeah, the difficulty settings, it would be, yeah, so I walked into this not knowing, and I'll make my other point about the healing, the way you can just, even on hard, pull that fucking stim pack thing out and inject yourself constantly over and over again. Like, yeah, I know it has a little cooldown, but I would have rather they had gone with med kits hidden throughout the environment, and maybe you can get knocked down, and one of the guys on the team, on the squad there, is a medic, and you can call him over and he will pick up and carry around, say, like 5 med kits, so that you can have some backup med kits. I would have rather had that than the never-ending stim pack. Like if I was making this game, understand I'm not hating on it. This isn't criticism at all. This is like, a hypothetically speaking what I would do in the perfect scenario of non-greedy EA existing and unlimited time and funding. Really, in my perfect world scenario of what this game is at its absolute highest capacity of awesomeness, it really is just the same exact game with just a couple of minor differences. Those minor differences being, instead of the endless stim pack, you get a med kits. And instead of the typical way of doing the difficulty settings, you have that big map there. Well, this is the perfect game because you've got that freedom of backtracking, freedom of moving around. This is the perfect game for when you turn the difficulty up a notch. It has more, instead of the enemies being more powerful or you taking less damage or dealing out less damage. Perfect game for there to be more enemies on the map the higher you set the difficulty. What else? Because I'm pretty sure that's like it. Just my standard gripe about every game's difficulty settings. And the medkit thing. Oh yeah, I was gonna say also, because the 4-man team thing, I think a lot more games should do this. I liked it in Gears of War Judgment. I mean, Gears of War especially is the kind of game, that shit can get stale. And it just felt like, to me at least, because this is funny that everybody hates Gears of War Judgment, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. I liked that more than fucking all the other Gears of Wars, because I feel like it had a freshness about it. It maintained a freshness throughout the campaign. If I was playing a level and dying a lot, I'd say, go back and forth and try it with or without the classified intel thing. I felt like the levels were a bit more open-ended and had a lot more shit hidden throughout them. I liked, and what I was getting to, I liked how it was broken up into the different testimonies. And, what the fuck? Trying to get the nose down on this thing. Oh, really? um, yeah, I liked how it was broken up into the different testimonies, and you got to play what felt like several missions as each character. That being said, a criticism that goes along with that game is make the characters functionally different in some capacity. I think this is something that Yahtzee said once, is that, there's really no point to, well, there's really no point to being able to switch amongst the characters if they, functionally operate the same exact way. Oh, come on, man, hit this bloody fuck. And, you look at GTA 5, that's a perfect example of what to do. You give one guy the meth head ability, and one guy the bullet time, and one guy the driving, and so on and so forth. And you have here, because you've got the squad, and clearly each of these guys have different skill sets and specialties. Perfect opportunity to have that ability to switch back and forth with the characters. So I talked about the health, talked about the difficulty, and the character switching. I guess that's pretty much it. I mean, everybody gets super uber about games, but isn't that funny? Super uber, I just thought, like, wow, I just said super twice in a row. And that redundant? I think that's good, though, because redundant is pretty much what we're trying to describe here. Everybody gets super uber about video games, when in reality, like, calm down, man. Calm down. You ain't gotta get good and all that shit, you know what I mean? Like, just relax. And so, just relax. That's my message to all the people that get all super duper hyped up. Enemy fire here. Dude, this is the stonedest helicopter on the battlefield, just fucking about like a total fuck. The enemy is dumbfounded, looking at this like little bleep on the radar that's just squiggling around. Like, what the fuck is, we got a Tango inbound, but I think it's already been hit. Oh, it's been hit alright. Yeah. This brings up this map here brings up another idea that I had for a Battlefield style online kind of a game, or just an online mode that you could put in Battlefield where you would have, hold up, where you would have, like say if this was your map on Battlefield, you would have a big ass base down here, a big ass base up here, and geometrically speaking, the furthest 2 points away from each other. And you would start, when you would spawn in that base, you would spawn in as a trooper, in his boxers and a wife beater, waking up in the bunk, sitting up to the sound of the fucking base alarms going off and everybody around him running around, all the other people playing the game as they're experiencing the same kind of thing, or you'd come to into the character like a little in the mess hall eating breakfast or doing whatever. You could spawn in a variety of ways into the base. And instead of having the physical fucking menu and shit, this is why I think this would be really interesting, because instead of having the physical menu and shit, you'd start off like in the beginning of the battlefield in that base here, and so would the other team off in their base. And you'd have like a full-on fucking military base with hangars with vehicles and an airstrip and machine gun emplacements, and you'd have many bunkers, or maybe a big ass main bunker and a big armory within the center of that bunker. And as you guys would spawn in, you would have to run over from wherever you spawned in into the armory and pick your gear and shit in an almost, well, maybe not an almost full tilt panic, depending upon how far along the match is. Maybe you're right down to the wire. Maybe your territory map looks like this and the fucking enemy team has the whole shit of it. But you'd pick out your gear and then you'd go out, and the idea would be to take over as much of the territory as possible. And the reason why would be to cut off the enemy team from the various smaller bases and outposts, supply depots hidden throughout the map. And so the idea would be that in order for you to spawn in your base, you need supplies. You need food and ammo and gas and water and fucking medical supplies. And so you would have all the vehicles at the base like you would have in Battlefield. There's probably more of them though, but all the vehicles in the base. This would be a big epic fucking, my dream of this would be that it would be a World War I era game. So you'd be really, gritting your teeth on some heavy duty shit, eyeball deep in the shit, trying to push and get to these different depots and smaller bases. And so you would form armored convoys and whatever troop movements to move around the map and capture these bases. And then you'd have like a little loading bar that would fill up while your truck and your convoy is being loaded up with the supplies, and you gotta defend it. And then you get that vehicle from wherever it is back to your base and unload the supplies, your main base where everybody's spawning in. And that gives you however many tickets to keep fighting to spawn in more guys. And so the key to victory would be that maintaining the defense of the base and taking over enough outposts to supply it, not losing all your vehicles. It would be it would be like a full-on fucking war. It would really, you would have, whoever is the squad leader guy, he wouldn't be, or the person who plays the fucking, top-down strategy view command center portion of Battlefield 4. That guy, he wouldn't be off in wherever the fuck looking at, a totally different thing. He'd still be doing that stuff, but he'd also be in the game like a regular dude. And he'd be in that fucking base, in the main control, room, and instead of menus and shit, all that shit, there would be squad leaders, and, well, not squad leaders, but there'd be people in the control room running around, scrambling, because instead of fucking menus with button prompts and shit, all that info would be on fucking screens, like Like it would be like you're on the command deck of some starship or whatnot, and the enemy's getting closer, and people are freaking out and running around, and you know, you got a computer over here that controls the automated turrets, so on and so forth, and you keep on going until some team has lost, you know, all their outposts, and they only control one little area, and they've made their final supply run as you close in on their last supply depot, and they've got however many amount of tickets left, and they decide to make their final stand in their base. You know, that'd be badass. It'd be awesome. So this is just a quick I say 20 minutes in. Yeah, well, this fucking phone, I'm not gonna get into it now. I'm gonna go and enjoy the game. Well, this has been my thoughts and ideas, and I hope y'all stay safe and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Cause shit's getting real, ain't it?